Okay, figured I'd make another video here about writing an ebook because I was doing some numbers out on this, and basically, this is a very, 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 very easy way to make money here. Is writing an ebook, okay? You don't have to deal with production. You write it once. You can make as many versions of it as you want, and then you just do the numbers out. So I'm going to do it here. Okay. Writing an ebook. What are we looking at here realistically? So, benefits. Basically, number one benefit is write it once. Make as many copies as you want for basically free. Okay, great. Number two, you can sell an ebook for very cheap. You don't need a publisher. You don't need an agent. And you can sell it yourself. Okay, great. Number three, you can sell it for very cheap because, once again, the production cost is minimal. I mean, you might spend $5-10 writing this book and your time, and if you charge $10 per copy and you sell 1,000 of them, do the math out. Okay, you can sell them for cheap. Okay, if you have a good offer and you have a couple referrals and some type of following, you're probably going to be able to sell a 100-page book for $10. Okay, so I'm just gonna write those down. If you have a good offer, a couple referrals from people in the industry that you're writing this book about, referrals, and if you have a good offer, a couple referrals, and some type of audience, whether that's an Instagram following, which can be built very quickly, Instagram, YouTube, email, etc., you can sell a book for $10. Okay, you can sell a book for $10. You can sell a book, say 100 pages, 10-page chapters. Think of it like that. And you can do big font too. You know, it doesn't have to be Times New Roman 7 font. Like, it can be 100 pages legitimately and not be that much writing. You can sell a book 100 pages or 10-page chapters, if you want to look at it like that, for $10. You can do that. Okay, it's not that complicated. So I'm actually going to change this to writing and selling an ebook. Okay. So in terms of the cons, what would the cons be? to doing this. You spend $500 on advertising and sell 0 of them. Okay, yeah. You could potentially lose money on this, just like any other business in the entire world. You could potentially lose money. And you could also potentially make thousands of dollars from a day of work. Okay, so how are we going to go about doing this? Okay, how are we going to go about doing this? Let's move this up a little. This is how we're gonna approach it. Okay, I'm gonna do this from my own experience here because this is what I would probably do. Okay, take something from your experience, your personal experience that can benefit other people. We're just gonna start with that. Number 1, take something from your personal experience, and by personal experience I mean business, life, whatever it is, but it's something that you've personally experienced and you personally have some type of expertise on. Okay, something you have some expertise on. Choose an angle to sell the expertise. I'm going to do an example here. I have a lot of expertise in the world of landscaping because that's what my business has been in for a decade now. Okay, so I have a lot of experience in the landscaping world, and so I would write an ebook. I would write an ebook on how to make money landscaping. So, how to make money landscaping. That's a pretty good title already. Now you have the title of a book, okay? I know how to make money from landscaping because it's something I have expertise in. And there are people who want to make money landscaping who do not have the expertise in it and can either pay $10 to shortcut 5 years of figuring it out, or they can go and spend 5 years figuring it out, or they can pay $10. It's up to the buyer, potential buyer. But I mean, when you look at it like that, $10, I mean, you just probably spent that at the convenience store today, right? So here's an example: how to make money landscaping. Great, that's a pretty good title. Okay, but it's not very specific, right? So let's make that a little bit better of an angle on my experience. So example, how to make money landscaping. Let's adjust that a little bit here. Okay. How to go 0 to 100K landscaping in 1 year. So now we have some numbers. Now we have some specificity here, or now we're basically getting specific, okay? So, how to go 0 to 100K landscaping in 1 year. Okay, that's a pretty good pitch. That's going to get some attention. $0 to $100,000 landscaping in 1 year? Okay, tell me more. Tell me more, because that sounds like a pretty good deal here. But it's still a little bit austere. You hear this type of pitch pretty often, right? How to make your first million, how to make your first 10K doing this, how to make your first, it's pretty, you see it a lot. It's not super attention grabbing, but it is maybe a good subtitle, right? So let's do another example, further making this title even more interesting, which is basically all what your angle is that you're choosing from your own personal experience. So we have how to make money landscaping. We have how to go 0 to 100K landscaping in 1 year, or you could do how to go from 0. It's either way. How to go 0 to 100K landscaping in 1 year, or make it a little more interesting, digging for gold. Digging for gold. Turning so I kind of like where this is going here. Digging for gold, or shoveling money. Making 100K in your first year landscaping. Either way, I like either title, because now we have something that's at least somewhat entertaining here. Digging for gold, shoveling money, making 100K in your first year. Digging for gold and shoveling money, making 100K in your first year landscaping. And we can also do a couple secondary examples of that. So we can just go here, do a couple different titles. Digging for gold and shoveling money. Making 100K. So now we have an offer, right? Basically, the offer is, if you read this book, you can make $100,000 in your first year landscaping. Making 100K in your first year landscaping. Because this is possible. You can do this, but you really can do this if you know what you're doing when you start. That's what makes the difference. A lot of people go through this stuff and just insist on learning the difficult way with these things, and it's like, dude, this is gonna take 5 or 10 years for you to learn how to actually make a good amount of money doing this, because people might not view landscaping like this, but you really make money when you actually know what you're doing and know what you're talking about. Nice. I like that title. So we have a title now. That's our angle, right? That's what we're going to base the rest of the book around. So 3, develop a chapter structure and you could have ChatGPT help you with this, but I would advise not going into this and putting this prompt into ChatGPT and saying write a book, because that's BS, frankly. So, develop a chapter structure, basically develop a chapter structure that is in line with the angle that you chose. Okay, so we'll go for digging for gold and shoveling money, making 100K in your first year in landscaping. That's a pretty good pitch right there. So let's develop a chapter structure. We said 100 pages, right? So chapter, let's do chapter 1. And you might just want to skip the fluff that is in a lot of books, because if someone's buying a book, how to make 100K in your first year landscaping, I mean, maybe build a little bit credibility in the actual book, but it's like they already bought it, dude. So it's like put as much value as you can into that book. Don't just like write your personal story and make jokes and stuff. It's like people bought that book to actually make money. So let's cut to the chase pretty quick here. So chapter 1, obviously, introduction. Do a couple quick notes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just talk about why knowing the industry is essential. Just keeping people actually interested in reading the whole thing just from the get-go here. Why knowing the industry is essential for success. Basically what we're going to present in the book. What we're going to present in the book. And we're just going to list that stuff out right here. So we have 1 chapter introduction, and we have 10 chapters at 10 pages each. And so let's just do, we have 8 chapters of actual content here. So let's come up with let's decide what the 8 chapters are going to be about. Okay, with 1 word each. Okay, chapter 1, introduction. Chapter 2, let's list it off here. Going to start with quoting, because if you don't know how to quote, write this down. If you don't know how to quote, you will fail. Because you will. Because you're not going to have a landscaping business and work hourly. You might as well just go and work for a business that exists already. If you don't know how to quote, you'll fail. Okay? Great. The next one, let's see, after quoting, can easily write 10 pages about quoting. Okay. Then after quoting, we're going to do seasonal management. This is an essential skill, because if you don't know what services to provide, if you don't know what services to provide when, you will fail. Okay, great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So quoting, seasonal management, 3, labor. Delegation. Let's say you will wear yourself out in a week without learning how to hire. Great. Delegation. That's just basic stuff right there. Delegation is just, this is textbook. I mean, this is actually a great book right here. This could probably save someone 3 years of figuring this stuff out themselves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Why knowing the industry is essential for success? Well, we're going to present in this book. Chapter 2, quoting. Chapter 3, seasonal management. Chapter 4, delegation. Chapter 5, equipment. Without the proper equipment, you will fail. Basically. Without the proper equipment, you will fail. If you're doing a grading project without a skid steer, then you will fail. Like, you're not going to do big projects without the right equipment, and this can be about rentals, certifications, investments, etc. Easily can do 10 pages on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we have equipment, and then let's do planting, and then let's do 1, 2, 3, mulch. Mowing, which if I was to do a business now, landscaping business now, I wouldn't mow. But some people, it makes sense to mow. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cleanup, you can make $100,000 in a landscaping business in 1 year, which would be the equivalent of $2,000 a week. Taking 2 weeks off, you can make $100,000 in a landscaping business. It's a lot of work, but if you know this stuff, you're probably going to be successful in it in the first year. If you don't know this stuff, you're probably not going to. You might not even make any money if you don't know this. So, pretty valuable stuff. So, these are our chapters, essentially, right here. From quoting to cleanup and trimming. And then our conclusion. Chapter 10. Conclusion. There you go. I mean, that's 100-page book right there. You can charge $10 for that. Do a couple samples of the writing. get a couple references, you can charge $10 for that. You can put that in front of 1 million people who landscape. There's probably 1 million landscapers on the internet. And out of those 1 million landscapers, if you get 1% of those, that's 10,000 people times 10 is you just made $100,000 off of a book that took you, what, a day to write, maybe? And this is an example that's very specific. So now you write 10 pages about each of these topics, and you have a 10-page book. I mean, you have a 100-page book that you can sell. And this, once again, this is an example. This is an example of, this is a specific example, but most people, I would say, have some type of experience that they can write 100 pages about and sell with a good offer. I would say most people have that. Okay. So, writing and selling ebook benefits. Write once, make as many copies as you want for basically free. You don't need a publisher, you don't need an agent. You can sell it yourself, and you can sell them for cheap. If you have a good offer, a couple referrals, some type of audience, Instagram, YouTube, email, etc., you can sell a book for $10. Okay. You're not asking for $100 for this book. You're asking for $10. How are we going to go about doing this? Take something from your personal experience, something you had expertise on. Choose an angle to sell the expertise. So this is something that I used as an example here. How to make money landscaping. Refine that to how to go 0 to 100K landscaping in 1 year. And then made that even better to digging for gold and shoveling money. Making 100K in your first year landscaping. That's a great title. So once you have your title and your angle, basically, you develop a chapter structure. So your chapter structure is introduction, and then tell the people what you're going to include in the book, and then come up with 8 chapters, write 10 pages on each of these topics. And for instance, this was what I'm writing about in this book. Okay, great. Conclude it. And basically, if you're willing to do some ad spend, right? Say your ad spend is not great. This is not really a field of expertise of mine right now. But roughly, say there's, just to do an example of numbers here. Basically, say your ad spend, because it's essentially free to make an ebook. I mean, it's going to cost, it's not free, but it's going to maybe cost you, what, $10? Put it through a spell check program if you can't really write, or have ChatGPT help you. Don't get AI to write a book for you and sell it for $10, because that's not really what are you doing at that point? So numbers example, say your ad spend just to get off the grounds, $500. Say you're running the ad campaign, okay? So $500 each book, each sale is, you're basically just making pure profit off the sale minus the ad spend. So $10 or $9.99, $10. Ad spend $500 each sale, 10 per book. And say you spend $1 per sale, which that is probably a pretty good return, but with $1 on a lot of paid advertising, you can probably get, if you're getting that in front of the right audience, you can probably get that in front of 50 to 100 people for $1. So if you spent $1 to get a sale, which again, this is probably really good marketing here, but if you spend $1, then you have a profit of $9 a book. So if you can maintain that $9 a book, then why not just spend $100,000 on ad spend at that point, right? But it doesn't work like that, because at some point, especially in a niche like this, there's going to be a limited amount of people who are going to buy this. That's one of the things with doing a one-off deal, is it's like, how many people are looking to make 100K landscaping in their first year? There's probably 100,000 people in the country looking to do that. Maybe 1 million people looking to do that, so it's like, at most you might make $1 million doing something like this, and then it's done. But then you also created a name for yourself as an author, so that has its own benefits. But basically, say you only wanted to spend $500 and you sold each book for $10 a book. That's 500 sales. 500 times 10. That's pretty simple. So profit 500 times, or $500, because $1 per sale. 500 times 10, looking at $5,000. And minus $500 ad spend. And you could even just email people the book. Like, you don't even really need to have a website for this, or a company name, or anything really. You could actually just run an ad with your personal Instagram and say, selling this book, like, shoot on to, or give me your email and I'll send you that's not a good way to do this, but basically it's like, as long as you have some type of social proof, man, that you're not a weirdo and that you are a person that is actually selling something valuable, like, it really is not that difficult. So, I mean, with a $500 ad spend, you're looking at a profit of $4,500 for maybe one day of actual work. $4,500. And then if it's super successful, then you could do a print version. But that's a whole other thing that I don't know much about. So let's see if I can underline this. Font. This is pretty basic, this program here. Just do that. So, I don't like that. But basically, what we're looking at is for $500 ad spend, charging $10 a book with a minimal audience or very, very little audience. You're looking at a profit of about $4,500 with a decent marketing campaign. It's like, this could be a video of you holding it up if you're landscaping, holding it up in your truck and printing out a physical copy of it or something and make it more legit, make it seem more legit, and then go, hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what's up, guys? This is my new book, Digging for Gold and Shoveling Money, making $100K in your first year landscaping. This is a book that could save you 5 years of learning the ropes like I did. If you're looking to get general business tips, looking to get industry specifics, learning how to quote, learning how to run a business, learning how to manage, learning how to schedule, this is a book for you. I'm selling it right now for $10. I mean, this is basically a no-brainer for anybody with a business, anybody who's looking to especially start a landscaping business. But these principles basically apply to any business out there. And for $10, I can send over an ebook to you and you can have this information yourself. Simple, very simple sales pitch. Very, very simple sales pitch. Just like that. And it's like, if you can't sell 500 of these books with that sales pitch with $500 of ad spend, I mean, maybe it's $1,000 ad spend. You're still making $3,500, or you're still making $4,000 rather, or maybe it's $2,000 ad spend. You're still making $3,000. And now at a certain point, it gets to a point where it might not really be worth it to you to do this for the amount of money that you could make. But in terms of going through the exercise itself here, just to see what's possible with the internet, it's pretty amazing when you do the numbers out and you factor in a good marketing strategy and a good plan. And this is how you make it happen. Just like this. With some proper marketing, with the right angle, and with a basic plan, basic financial plan. There you go. There's a way to make $4,500 right there.